A census taker tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. He says it wrong, by the way. It's one of the weird things about that movie. He says Chianti. You know, who would say Chianti? I really don't. I think that cannibals are creeps. I'm just going to say it. Cannibals are creeps. I don't get the fascination with the whole Hannibal Lecter thing. I've had a few requests for this one. It's called Punch Romaine, as served by both Dr. Hannibal Lecter and also the chef of the Titanic during the final dinner served aboard that grim-fated vessel. I haven't seen much of Hannibal, just the first 3 episodes, and also the clips that were relevant to the serving of Punch Romaine, which, in case you're wondering, is in Season 3, Episode 3. Hannibal serves it to a guy, I guess I should say spoilers, but Hannibal serves it to a guy called Professor Sogliato, which sounds like a character from an opera or something. Professor Sogliato. Hannibal serves it to this guy and explains the drink's origin and the pedigree briefly.
A cocktail created by Escoffier, served to first-class guests on the Titanic during their last dinner.
And then jams an ice pick into the side of his head in a moment that frankly shocked the fucking hell out of me. Caught me very off guard. Pretty upsetting stuff, honestly. I think the sound design is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that moment. Man. Ooh. Anyway, the history of the drink itself is interesting. See, it was invented by Auguste Escoffier. Some of you know who Escoffier is, and for the rest of you, let me just say that he was a big deal in the world and history of cooking and the idea of the chef. He was born in 1846 and died in 1935. Escoffier was a restaurateur, a chef, and a food writer. He's largely responsible for elevating French cooking into loftier haute cuisine heights. He codified the 5 mother sauces. He was called the King of Chefs and the Chef of Kings. He fundamentally changed the nature of professional kitchens. He was also really into the idea of serving an alcoholic shaved ice as an intermezzo, sort of like a palate cleanser in the middle of your meal, of which Punch Romaine is one. It's one of Escoffier's creations. It's an elevated and complex drink, but it is also kind of a slushy, sort of like a prototype for a frozen daiquiri, maybe? I like the idea of Escoffier today, with like a battery-powered Jimmy Buffett margarita machine slung over his shoulder, just doing tableside offerings of margarita à la Redneck Riviera in his restaurants. So this was fancy people food, okay? As a result, it was served where people thought they were fancy, like, say, ocean liners and the Titanic, for a specific example. So one part of this drink's history is that it was served as part of the last dinner aboard the Titanic. So it carries a kind of morbid weight with it as well. Let's make it! This one has been around long enough that there's actually a number of recipes for it that have been published. Even Escoffier himself had a few ways of doing it. I'm working mainly here from Jerry Thomas, actually. One thing that most recipes are going to agree upon is that it should be served over shaved ice. And you can get away with super fine crushed ice, like, you know, crush it to snow, but shaved ice is sorta technically its own thing. And well, if you're nuts like me, you can buy a machine that does it. Here it is. This is a industrial grade ice shaving machine. It's got a big spinning razor blade in there. You feed ice in here, it comes shooting out here. I'll put that in the affiliate links for you, but I doubt you're gonna buy one. The other way to get truly shaved ice without like a machine would be to have a big block of ice and like a very clean, wide fronted chisel and just shave it off. It's time consuming. I went with the machine, but we don't need it just yet. This is like kind of the last part of the drink. Right now we're gonna start with a shaker, and I wanna add ½ ounce of simple syrup to my shaker. Now I wanna add 1 ounce of fresh orange juice, which I probably should have done to begin with, honestly. We're gonna need an orange, and we're gonna need to slice it in half, and we're gonna need to juice that bad boy. I'll save the other half for later. 1 ounce of our fresh orange juice. Now I need a few good inches of the orange peel itself, and honestly, I probably should have pulled that off of the orange before I cut it in half, right? That's dumb, but whatever. So I'm gonna try to, this is not the way to do this, but it is the way I am doing it. I'm going to try to peel this orange. Just try to get as much of that in there as I can. No real, you know, specific answer here. Just try to get some in there, right? Like half an orange. Later I'm going to garnish this drink with an orange twist as well, but I want to get some peel into the shaker and we're going to muddle it in a minute. This is sort of a quick way to get towards something like an olio sacrum without having to put all the time into it. The recipes for this usually call for some kind of time of preparation with a peel and soaking ingredients or possibly orange zest. They never call for long enough to get all of the oils out and really do like an olio. So I feel like this approach is like a good way to get it done fast and in the shaker. It'll work out pretty well. Next, I need an ounce of rum, and the rum of the day would have been, without almost no question, a really light Cuban Bacardi. So Bacardi is not the wrong way to go here, unless you have access to like Havana Club or something. I don't. And now we need an ounce of Fino Sherry, like a dry sherry. An Amontillado wouldn't be wrong here. Actually, maybe an Amontillado would be more on theme. You know, the whole, the Montague. Now, this is a step that you're not going to see in a lot of other recipes. I'm going to actually muddle this just to try and press the oils out of the orange peel. You don't have to go crazy. Just any kind of really good pressure on there. Just big, flat-fronted muddler. I hate muddlers with teeth. That's the wrong thing for a muddler to have. Just trying to help press out some oils there. Now we want an egg white in there. Yep. We got an egg white in there. We're going to dry shake it. Wow. Just kind of like losing my mind here, dudes. We're going to shake it again. One big. Crack the other one up. Now shake, shake, shake. I think this is as close to the appropriate glass as I could find. It's sort of a dessert thing. It's for ice cream, really, but it's definitely maybe a little more stem than this. You could do this in a coupe. I think it's more like this. I'm going to put a link to this in the pinned comment below. I always forget the name of these, now I forget them. So I want to shave some ice. I'm going to shave ice, if I can, straight into there. I haven't used this thing too much, so we'll try it out. Pop this up, put a cube in there, take this little bowl out. That was fun. And there we have it, our little mountain of ice, right? So now I want to strain the drink into our mountain of ice. And for the final part, well, actually, none of this is final yet. We put a little champagne in here. And this glass might be a bit too small, but that's all right. And this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is actual champagne. At the very least, it's French, but it's very cheap. There's a hilarious little face on the top there. I like that. I like a wine. I like a champagne with a sense of humor. Vouvray. Yeah, it's fine. Little brut champagne. And we've got a nice little froth going here, and we'll just put that in. Really kind of helps it froth up. And then I said we would do this. Let's take something like this, it's just so fancy. I'll take one of my little scones. Kind of like that, a little orange flower there. And there it is, Punch Romaine. Let's see how it is. It's very nice. Has like the frothiness of a, what do you call it? The texture kind of actually reminds me of like, I can't think of it, pina colada. It's very elegant. It's not overpowering. It's definitely sophisticated. It is a tipple. There we have Punch Romaine, a tipple suitable for a serial murdering cannibal or an ill-fated passenger liner or a YouTuber. Take your pick. It's really nice. It's very light and very, very balanced. No flavors are very loud in it. It has a very mellow orange and a very mellow sweetness. The champagne adds lightness and fluff to it with the bubbles, the egg white, the texture, the foaminess of it, the freezing cold, icy shave. It's very textural, very textural. The shaved ice combined with the egg foam, oh, it's really cool. And the whole thing just has this very mildly orangey, very mild orangey sweetness balanced by this Fino Sherry woodsiness. I don't know, that's the notes I always feel like I get on a good sherry. It's like sort of woodsy, like a nuttiness or something, like a nuttiness. It feels and tastes fancy. Oh man, that's good. That's really good. I mean, that's all I can say is that Escoffier knows what he's doing, I guess. That's what it is. It's like four things in contrast because you've got woodsy dry Fino, offset by citrusy sweetness, two opposite ends, but just right. Sharp, cold, frosty little ice crystals, offset with silky, smooth egg white texture, and the whole thing elevated with champagne. It's a masterclass in mixology right there, really. It's very good. I hope I did it justice. I mean, I hope it's as good as it can be. Today we did Punch Romaine. I saw some stuff online about how it was like a favorite of Roman of popes and stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe, but it's not that old. It was invented in sometime after 1820 something, right? You see stuff online. It's like, oh, Punch Romaine's been around since the 17 or 1600s. It's like, no, it hasn't. Oh yeah. This is lovely. It would go great with liver and fava bean. If you like the show and you like the idea of hanging out with me live and being here in the bar and seeing us do stuff live and interacting live and doing things on the fly, check out my Twitch. I'm at twitch.tv/Greg from HTD, live on there a couple times a week, whether it's gaming or host or game mastering tabletop role-playing games like Cyberpunk and Dungeons and Dragons, or just here in my bar doing live mixology with you a few times a week. So check it out; it'll be fun. We'll all hang out. I'm pretty good about talking to people. If you want to hear more from me, I'm on Twitter at HowToDrink with a number in the middle, and Instagram at HowToDrink with a number in the middle. I got a Patreon at patreon.com/howtodrink, and the parts of this episode that were just too weird for the YouTubes, we're going to wind up over there. I'm Greg. This is How to Drink the show. I'm making cocktails and how to drink them. I'll be back soon with another episode of How to Drink, and of course I would be remiss if I didn't tell you to like, comment, and subscribe. They give you that in a book. It's part of the contract at YouTube. You have to say that. You don't, but you should. But I've been doing the show for a while, and a lot of old episodes. We've been doing it for 5 years. So if you like it, maybe you'd like one of these. I've done a lot of stuff on TV, movies, video games, pop culture, also just history, which this one is actually from both. It's like a crossover episode. Maybe take them out, fall down the rabbit hole, enjoy the How to Drink experience. I don't know. I feel like an asshole when I say that stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with another episode. How to Drink. One should always, if possible, try to eat the rude. Eat the rich.